Hello everyone, today on ALifeLearned I want to discuss what it's been like to live near a person that abused me for over half a decade and live near a place that I was abused and how I'm trying to learn to cope with that situation so far.
An idea.
An escape.
Ideas are bulletproof.
For anyone not familiar with my channel, my name is Becca and I have been through 6 years of regular abuse where I was raped on a daily basis and actually beaten on a regular basis as well. I missed a lot of school and had a rather difficult time during my teens because of this. And I finally went to the police a couple years ago about it. And unfortunately, because of the particular situation it was, and because I didn't report it right away after getting out of the abuse, it was considered what's called a historical case, and through him finagling things and using the justice of the peace, he managed to get out of jail, and basically that means that he's living in the house that he regularly abused me in and is living in the same city that I'm living in, even though we are actually involved in a court case about the abuse that I was put through. So this means that every day I walk outside and I know that he could drive right by me. He actually drives a lot, like he likes to drive around. We used to drive around all the time. So this is a rather stressful thing to deal with, and I know a lot of people have to deal with this in the sense that a lot of people don't even report their abuse. So they just get away and then know that their abuser could come by at any time because they might happen to live near them, and so that's just a really stressful and difficult thing to deal with. I mean, I'm fortunate in my situation in that I did report it, so there is actually a restraining order in place and he's not supposed to come near me, but he made me believe that he had a lot of connections within the city that we're living and that he has the ability to just get someone to come after me kind of thing, and that makes me really uncomfortable and stressed at times, of course. And I often walk down the street not sure what color his vehicle is. It's probably a van because he always has a van to put the dog in the back, but I don't know what color it is, and I don't know if he's driving the motorhome, and I don't know, I heard he has a motorcycle now, and I just, not knowing what he's driving makes me anxious for every vehicle I see. Is that him driving? Is he seeing me now? You know, is he following me? Is he watching me now? He always used to make me think that he was always watching me, so it's a very anxiety-filled situation. And then I know where he lives within the city, so if I ever have some reason that I have to be in that area, like the hospital is sort of in that area, I get really anxious when I get up there, or like where I grocery shop is sort of up in an area that he drives around a lot. So I just kind of become super hypervigilant at those times, and I'm always watching every vehicle and feeling like I'm on a stage and that he could see me at any time, and it's hard to cope with. I mean, I'm afraid at night sometimes too that like he's now discovered where I live because he's seen me at some point, and that someone or him are going to break into my door someday, and because I do live on my own, and, you know, hurt me or something because I've reported him. So these are a lot of fears to have to deal with, and it sucks, of course, and so I empathize with anyone who lives near their abuser. It's a really hard thing to deal with. I do personally feel the best thing is to report them because as far as I've experienced, that offers more protection in terms of restraining orders and other things, such as possibly getting them to stay in jail. If you report it right out of the abuse, usually they are more considered a threat, and thus they will be kept in jail. It's because I had waited a while, so he was considered less of a threat because he hadn't hurt me in a while. So that's how he managed to get out. So yeah, in the end, it's a really stressful thing to experience, and I was thinking about it a lot, in particular yesterday, because yesterday was actually his birthday, and I was kind of wondering what he was doing and what he was up to and if he was with the dog. But more than anything, I just worry if he's near me or where I live, or passing by accident and or on purpose. So in dealing with that stress, I do try to remind myself about the restraining order and that he's not allowed near me. And then I also make myself feel reassured by sort of placing things in areas so if I ever feel I need to defend myself, I can. He actually taught me that, to have like a fire extinguisher beside my bed at all times. For one, to fight off a fire if it ever happens and you're sleeping. But for two, if you ever let one of those things out on a person, they can't breathe. And they're just completely disoriented. So that's bad. Or, I mean, even if you don't turn it on, just like that's heavy. So if you like smash somebody with that, like it's a good way to get away kind of thing. So reassuring myself that I can defend myself is one thing. And I've had people suggest that I maybe get like a little pepper spray thing or something to defend myself outside. I don't really want to do that because I actually personally feel that if I get pepper spray, I'll feel less secure being outside, because it's almost like I'm verifying I could be hurt by getting the pepper spray and carrying it with me. Like I'm always thinking about it then, and I'm always worried. Whereas I do find moments where I can relax and I'm not thinking about if he's there or around. And I treasure those moments. So I guess in that sense, one might say then don't place items around your place, because you're still making yourself think that someone might break in. So I agree, maybe that's wrong, but this is just how I approach it. Pepper spray makes me uncomfortable, but I feel comfortable placing items around my home so that I can defend myself if anybody were to attack me. And I do just know certain self-defense things that I've learned throughout different classes when I was a teen and such. So that's something I reassure myself of as well. And I would suggest, if you're feeling insecure, that maybe you should consider a self-defense class. They're pretty simple. They're usually only a couple classes, and you just learn a few basic moves of how you can basically just break free of anyone trying to hurt you and get away. It's never really about hurting another person, but just getting away from them. And as I mentioned, I did report it. So one thing I do always remind myself of and sort of look forward to is that there's a lot of evidence built up against him, and so at some point he will be put away and he will be out of an ability to harm me as much. Though I also like to believe that he doesn't want to harm me and that this is all in my head, but of course with all of the abuse that I've been through, you know, it's not an unreasonable thing to be in my head. So yeah, in the end, stressful, anxious filled. I'm always hyper vigilant when I'm outside and like hyper aware, but I do have moments where I kind of forget. And I cherish those moments. They're usually when I'm like with a friend, because my friend can distract me and I'll like be talking to them. So I guess that's another thing to suggest, is if you have trouble going outside because you know that they might be near you, then maybe try to have a friend with you at all times, or as much as you can set up some kind of buddy system with a friend or even a family member, because that can be really helpful. And it's good for you to go for walks and to not feel isolated in your home just because this person is near you. So definitely something to consider as well. So I empathize very much with anybody who happens to have their abuser living near them or in the same city or town as them. I get that it's really hard. It's really stressful. I do suggest reporting them, but if you can't, I understand, you know, everyone's situation is unique. More than anything, just try to make yourself feel safe without overwhelming yourself with too many things, like making yourself always think about how unsafe you are. Try to find distractions like friends, as I mentioned. And feel free to message me if you have stress over this issue and would just like someone to talk about it. I'm always happy to talk. Feel free to comment below about your experience with this if you happen to live near your abuser. I know this is a really hard thing to deal with on a daily basis, and so feel free to share in the community and feel supported, because we all really do care. Just a little PS for all my wonderful subscribers that follow me right to the end of my videos every time. You guys are wonderful. I love you. And I'm thinking of doing a new trailer on my channel. And I've had a few people express that they feel like I've helped them, or that they at least really appreciate the work I put into my videos, and they feel that some of the things I've said have been helpful and good in some way for them. And that's all I really want. I really want to help people. I want to share information and sort of teach and counsel, or just be there for others and support and share education. And so I was wondering if anyone was interested in helping me with my new trailer. I've noticed that some people do trailers where they get their subscribers to take part in it and basically just do a little clip of what they like about the channel. So if you're interested, please feel free to just make a little clip where you say how you found my channel and what you like about it and why you would suggest someone else watch it, and either email it to me or post it and then send me the link through the YouTube message or through email, whatever works for you. Either way, I would just love to see what you guys have to say. All the positive feedback I get is really a huge thing that helps me keep going every day. And to be able to make a little trailer about my channel showing others that I really just want to help others and that I sort of have at this point would be just a lot of fun, I think, and I'd love to include you guys. So if you're interested, please feel free to comment below that you're interested, and also make up that little video whenever you can. Don't feel you have to edit it in any way, because I'll put them all together, and let me see what you've got to say, because I'd love to know. And please, as always, join me again next week where I try again to share a little something I learned in life.